Hey there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And we're here with Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we take your favorite animals and rate them out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try our best to bring you the most accurate information we can.
I have some fun surprises for you this week.
I'm excited.
I am too. I'm excited to see how you respond to them. Hopefully you can help me understand some of them.
Do you know what the first surprise is going to be for me?
What's that?
The animal.
Oh, you forgot which animal I'm doing this week. Oh, that's fun. I certainly told you at some point. Just as much a fun surprise for you as it is for the listener.
The listener is probably better off than I am because I don't have a title in my Podchaser to go off of.
That's true. Yeah, you don't. You're flying completely blind here. Before we get started on this week's episode, I wanted to say that we started watching The Bear on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising lack of bear representation in the show.
Aside from metaphor.
Yeah, a metaphorical bear, I suppose. But I really had my hopes up. I thought this was going to be some sort of perhaps documentary about bears that had 2 seasons on Hulu for some reason.
Nope.
I'm kidding. It's a good show.
It is. Not for young listeners,
Not for young people. This one's for the grown-ups out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want people out there to get their hopes up thinking there's going to be bears. It's like Yellow Jackets all over again. Like you think it's going to be about that animal and then it's not.
There is a different show called Bear. Just Bear.
Is that one about bears?
I think so.
But it's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, banter complete.
You gotta check that box on the Google Doc.
Yeah, that's part of the template. That's part of the structure of the show. Little brackets that say insert banter.
Mm-hmm.
It's my turn to go first this week.
Very good. What is this, I'm sure, interesting animal that you've chosen this week?
This week, I'm talking about the coati.
Coati?
Coati. You certainly know what this is. I have witnessed you with my eyes looking at this animal.
In the same place? Yeah.
I was in the same place with you. I watched you make direct eye contact with this animal. I know you know what they are.
You know what's throwing me?
What?
I think there's a Star Wars character whose name is similar to this.
To Coati?
Coati Mundi, I think.
That's the animal. That's what the animal is. It's not a Star Wars character.
You didn't say the second part.
That's because that is a specific variation on their name that I will explain a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, Coati Mundi is a version of their name that you'll see around sometimes.
I see.
But it's kind of like a specific application of their name, whereas Coati is the more sort of general use case of their name. It's not a Star Wars character.
Listen, I've got the Ahsoka show on my brain.
I know, you're all Star Wars'd up. The Coati was submitted to us by Mercy Anderson and Jack Brown. Thank you, folks. Great suggestion. I'm getting my information from the San Diego Zoo, Smithsonian's National Zoo, and National Geographic, and some other fun little sources as they come up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, if you're not familiar with the Coati, as Christian clearly is not, have never seen this man, sorry to this man, do not know him. They're a mammal about the size of a cat, but with a much larger tail that is banded with black and white rings.
Aww.
Imagine a raccoon or perhaps a red panda, but if you stretched it long ways.
Oh.
Just a long raccoon. They got the really, really long snout with a bendy, flexy nose at the tip. It's a long raccoon.
But not anteater type.
No. I'm going to show you a picture real quick. This is the boy. That's him.
Ah, okay. Yes, I recognize this.
I know you do because I've seen you see them before. We've been to the same places. I know you've seen them. So that's what a coati is. They're mostly found in Central and South America, but they can be found as far north as Arizona. So you can see them in parts of Arizona.
Now, how'd they get there?
They walked, I would assume. I mean... It's all connected, right? You could get there.
Arizona borders Mexico, doesn't it?
Oh my...
I was thinking, is there a different state in between there?
Is there a different state called Arizona that's somewhere else?
What's funny is we have a close friend that lives in Arizona.
We do. And what had this on my brain recently is that she sent me a picture of an Arizona license plate that had a coati on it. And I thought that was really cool.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently you can find them in Arizona. Like,
that's pretty cool.
Walking around. They belong to the taxonomic family Procyonidae. Their closest relatives are, in fact, the raccoons. Some other famous members of that family are the kinkajous. There are 4 different species of coati. They're all vaguely similar. They have similar energy, same vibe. The name coati comes from the old Tupi language, which is indigenous to Brazil. And the other version of the name Coatimundi, I'll explain later where that comes from. But I was...
Not George Lucas.
No, it does not come from the mind of George Lucas. It's the same brilliant mind that came up with... What's the guy's name?
Droopy McCool.
Droopy McCool. Yeah. Now, while looking around for etymology information on the name, I came across a Wiktionary page. I don't know if you've ever perused the offerings of Wiktionary.
No, never.
But the Wiktionary page listed a nickname, Brazilian aardvark.
Really?
That it specified as, quote, non-standard. And there was a link. So I clicked it. And according to the Wiktionary page, they said, the name was picked up following its insertion into Wikipedia in July 2008 by Dylan Breves as a joke. The hoax was uncovered in 2014, 6 years later, but some use of the name has continued.
Okay.
So apparently someone just as a joke put on the Wikipedia page for coatis that they're also called Brazilian aardvarks. And nobody checked. So, like, people just, like, you know how, like, sometimes, I don't know, like, BuzzFeed listicles or whatever will, like, pick up these weird little fun facts.
I mean, when I see articles that talk about the international, like, different names for something, I've seen paragraphs of these kinds of, like, also known as...
Oh, my gosh. Have you ever looked at the one for roly-poly? There's an entire section on the roly-poly page that's, like, all the different little names for them.
So, I mean, I could see it. It'd be easy to slip in there.
Yeah, I totally would not have given that a second thought. But yeah, apparently I just found that interesting that there was a little nickname hoax. To get right into our ratings for this animal, which if this is your first time listening to this show, we give animals ratings out of 10. The first category is effectiveness, which are physical adaptations that the animal has that let it survive and thrive in the type of ecosystem it lives in, things built into its body that let it survive and thrive in the ecosystem it lives in. I'm giving the coati a 7 out of 10 for effectiveness. Now, it is very, very well adapted to life in the trees.
Okay.
Their front ankles can rotate 180 degrees, which lets them turn their front paws backwards, facing their tail, which lets them crawl down trees head first.
This sounds familiar.
So this is not uncommon in arboreal mammals. Fusas can do this.
Okay.
I think binturongs, can also do this as well. It's interesting because a lot of the adaptations seen in coatis, you're also going to see in a lot of other arboreal mammals. It's kind of a convergent evolution thing, right? Like all of these animals, without being related to each other, are all responding to the same circumstances, so they're developing similar traits.
Right.
And another one of those traits that they have that helps them live well in the trees is their tails. It's one of the first things you notice when you look at them because they have this long banded tail. The tails are not completely prehensile. Like the tip of it, they can kind of maneuver around, but it's mostly kind of, it's not the sort of thing that they're going to be like wrapping around branches and like hanging from or anything like that.
Right.
It is a powerful tail, though, and it helps them balance and support their body on tree branches. So they could lean it against a tree to use it kind of like a fifth leg, or they can just hold it above themselves to help them balance. In fact, when they're walking, like either on the ground or through branches or something, they often hold their tail straight up directly above their body. You've probably seen pictures of this.
Is this the thing where someone took a video of them walking on the ground and then played it in reverse, and it looks like little teeny brontosauruses walking around?
It does. That was actually the thing I had next to my nose, that they look like little brontosauruses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I'm glad we were on the same page. And that's thought to actually maybe be a way to signal their location to other coatis.
Oh, like a little flag.
Yeah. So the females travel in bands when they're...
I like that they're called bands.
I know, it's really cute. So another thing that they have, another tool they've got in their belt is a flexible snout and a piggy nose.
Oh boy.
It's really, really cute. They can use it to sniff out food in the leaf litter or in the crevices and little holes of trees. It's almost elephant-like in that it is like a very long snoot that is very flexible, and they can like bend it in all sorts of different directions. Mm-hmm. It's a little eerie to look at, but I think it's kind of cute. Big snifflers. They also have long, agile fingers that give them great dexterity and let them take advantage of food sources that other animals might not be able to access. So they can do things like pry bark apart or, like get into little crevices and stuff that maybe other animals might not. And I did give them a little bit of a deduction here because they don't have as much manual dexterity as their cousins, the raccoons. Raccoons nearly have thumbs, right? They're well known for having like incredible manual dexterity. And the coatis haven't quite gotten that far, but they still do have those long, slender toes. I give them a slight deduction for the fact that they don't have a ton of physical defenses from predators. So they do have their long, sharp teeth. They have long, sharp claws that are great for digging and prying open things like tree bark. But we've seen more creative defenses from arboreal mammals, right? Like porcupines and stuff. Like, I would like to see something a little more exciting in the physical defenses department.
What predators is this dealing with?
Every predator you can think of. Every imaginable predator. Jaguars, ocelots, eagles. Like they got those harpy eagles down there too that are like the size of a house. That's an exaggeration, but those things are huge. Crocodiles, snakes. There are so many predators. There's so many. And you'd think that they would have buffed up a little bit because of that. But no, these things get eaten all the time.
Are they nocturnal at least?
They're not. They're diurnal.
Sorry, bud.
F in the chat for all the coatis that get eaten on a daily basis. But they do cover themselves a little bit with behavior. Okay. Which is our next category that we rate animals on, which is ingenuity, behavioral adaptations. I'm giving the coati a whopping 9 out of 10. Wow. Yes. These are very clever little critters. Like I mentioned earlier, female coatis live in bands with their young, but males leave the band and tour solo when they reach maturity. So this is where the coatimundi name comes from. Okay. Solitary male coatis are much bigger than females, and their behavior is very different. So they were once thought to be a completely separate species. And that's where they got the name. The name coatimundi meant lone coati. So it was like a separate name used for what they thought was a separate species. And that referred specifically to the lone male coatis. Okay. Now we know it's just males and females of the same species, but still, that's why you'll still see both coati and coatimundi used to mean the same animal.
So this is just a combination of sexual dimorphism being and also being separated from females.
Yes. Okay. So like physical dimorphism, but also like behavioral. Like they're not social. They go off on their own. Interesting. I could definitely see how you would see that they both look and act differently and assume that they're like a different species. So that's where the name comes from. Okay. And traveling in large groups is thought to help the much smaller female coatis find strength in numbers. It's a little bit easier for them to defend themselves or look out for each other, right? If they see like a threat coming at them, they can sound an alarm call and let everybody else know so that they can, evade or do whatever they need to do to survive. They also practice reciprocal altruism among their band, which means that they help each other, right? Especially in terms of child rearing. All of the adult females in the band take care of all of the babies. Okay. It's not like this is my baby and I'm going to take care of my baby. Sure. It's like this is everyone's baby and everyone takes it. So a female coati will even nurse pups that aren't hers. Right. I think they call them kittens actually. Okay. But she will nurse young that are not her own. So it's a true like takes a village effort sort of thing.
Is there like a rotation they do?
I don't know if it's like the sort of thing where it's a rotation, but they do take turns. So like one mother will go off to forage and she'll leave her young behind with the other mothers.
That's just efficient.
It's extremely efficient. Yes, it's great actually, especially because the males go off and like do their own thing, right? So they're not staying behind to help with the babies. So they rely on each other. Do better, coatis. Well, it looks like they've got their bases covered, so they're doing fine. But what I really wanted to talk about for their ingenuity is that they are really, really well known for their curious nature and clever approaches to foraging. So an interesting example I found that you can actually find videos of on YouTube is that if they find a tarantula, so tarantulas are covered in what's called urticating hairs, which will sting and irritate you if you touch them, right? They're covered in these hairs. If you just grab a tarantula with your hand, it's going to hurt. Like, it irritates your skin. It doesn't feel good. So what they do when they find a tarantula is they flip it over and roll it around on the ground, which feels like bullying. And they rub it around to get all the hairs off before they eat it.
Oh, okay. I thought they were trying to like roll it away. Like, ew.
No, they want to eat it. But they knock all the hairs off first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty clever. You can see videos of that. It's pretty neat. Now, while I was looking up accounts of people observing, like coatis and their behavior and things like that, I found something that I found really charming. I found an article from Natural History magazine from 1936.
Oh.
Yeah, and this was an account by ornithologist Frank Chapman about his time on an expedition in Barro, Colorado, an island in the Panama Canal. So Chapman was there to study the birds of the island, like tanagers and toucans, stuff like that, fruit-eating birds. So he wanted to attract the birds to where he was staying so that he could observe them and study them because that's what he was there for. So he would set out these trays of fruit, specifically bananas. Those bananas also attracted one particular coati, which the researchers grew familiar with to the point that they gave him a name, Jose.
All right.
Yeah. And they could tell it was him because he had a particular injury to his face that they could identify him by. So in his article, Chapman writes about his struggles to leave bananas out for birds without the coatis getting to them first.
Okay.
This is going to sound really familiar to anyone who's ever tried to keep a bird feeder with squirrels around. He starts off by placing the tray on trolley wires that are attached to the balcony of the place he's staying at. So there are like trolley wires attached to the balcony. He balances the tray on top of the two wires. Jose figures out how to climb up a nearby tree, descend onto the wires from above, and walk across and get the tray with the bananas on it. So Chapman moves the tray to rest on just one wire because he figures that Coati is using one wire for his feet, the other wire for his tail. He's like, what if there's only one wire? He's not going to be able to balance. And he lowers the wire to make it slack so that it's more difficult to walk on. He writes, Jose mastered the new contrivance at the first attempt. It is true, his little journey was ended so hastily that the tray turned over with him, but he lost neither his head nor his footing, while the banana was grabbed as it swung above him and devoured before he resumed his journey upside down and returned to the tree somewhat winded but experienced. After lunch, the journey was repeated with everything under control, and it was evident that while I had added to Jose's skill, I had in no way reduced his sources of food. He figured it out and got better at it. So he was like, well, dang, okay. So next he tries tying the bananas with string and dangling them from branches, thinking, okay, if I just have them hanging, then the birds can fly up to it. But the coatis learned how to pull the string in, pull up on the string and bring the banana up to them, or just break the whole branch off and run off with it.
Well, then you have a whole clutch of bananas.
Yeah, so they were they immediately figured that one out. That one was not difficult for them at all. So finally, he puts a metal bucket upside down on top of an 8-foot tall pole. And then puts the banana tray on top of the bucket.
Oh, okay.
The coatis climbed the pole. they knocked the bucket with their paws to loosen it off of the pole, and then they were able to grip the rim of the bucket with their claws and pull up to climb on top of the bucket and reach the banana tray. So Chapman writes, in the end, therefore, not even the tub was immune, and at this point I abandoned further attempts. The coatis won. The birds must take their chances. I would supply the bananas.
It's very raccoon behavior.
Yes, this is extremely raccoon behavior. Very squirrel-like, but, really goes to show that, like, they're extremely clever and very good at figuring out things that they're clearly unfamiliar with, right? This is nothing they would have ever experienced in their life. And they can figure it out, like, very quickly.
And they love the banana.
They love bananas. It reminds me a little bit of that trick of designing trash cans that are simple enough to be used by humans, but too complex to be used by bears.
Right.
Like, he has to come up with something that can be accessed by birds, but not coatis, and the coatis are way smarter.
Just grease the pole. There you go.
He should have thought of that. Well, this was 1936. I don't know what
I'm sure they had grease in 1936.
I don't know, lard. They would have had lying around.
Pomade.
Yeah, probably. And my final sort of thing I wanted to talk about for coati ingenuity is that coati behavior has applications in computer science.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh?
An optimization algorithm inspired by the hunting strategies of coatis was introduced earlier this year, January of this year. So the behavior that inspired the algorithm is a certain behavior said to be used by coatis when hunting iguanas in treetops.
Oh.
Now, I want to say this was described by the paper introducing this algorithm. I tried to look this up elsewhere. I couldn't find anyone else talking about this behavior. So I'm not 100% sure where they got this account from. I'm just putting that out there.
Sure.
But they explain that the coatis split into two factions, one of which will go up the tree to harass the iguana into either falling or jumping out of the tree. The other coatis stay down on the ground and attack it once it falls.
Okay.
So they flush it out, basically. They flush the iguana out of the tree and then wait at the bottom. It goes kind of back to that reciprocal altruism thing. Like they're working together. My extremely strained and rudimentary understanding of the algorithm, I'm not a computer scientist. I don't know if this is something that makes any sense to you. But my extremely basic understanding is that it tests variables by randomly placing them throughout what it calls a search space, and then updating their position in each iteration only if it brings that variable closer to the objective. So the objective being the location of the iguana, which has spawned randomly somewhere in the search space.
Right.
So with each, iteration of the algorithm, it only updates the position of each variable, which is the coati, if it brings them closer to the iguana. So if a coati is hunting iguanas, they're not going to move away from it, right? They're only going to move if they can get closer to the iguana.
Right. So this is kind of a shortest path algorithm where the target is moving, right?
Yeah.
And then the movement is being initiated by your own search. So that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah. They also, in the paper, said that they, also had some inspiration from coati, what they described as escape strategies. But then when they described what those escape strategies were, they were when a coati is attacked, they move away from the predator.
Yeah.
I'm yeah. Yeah, that's what escaping is. So I didn't glean anything interesting from that, but I found that really fascinating that this behavior of an animal could be sort of applied to.
I mean, I'm curious as to what the real world application is of that kind of algorithm.
That is above my pay grade. I'm sorry. I don't know. But Okay, so I will say the paper I got that from is called Coati Optimization Algorithm, a new bio-inspired meta-heuristic algorithm for solving optimization problems. That was by Mohammed Degani et al. In Knowledge-Based Systems in January of 2023. And while I was reading this paper, it also taught me that a lot of algorithms are designed based on nature and animal behavior and evolution. So they cited lots of biology-inspired algorithms, with a few of my personal favorites being the whale optimization algorithm, which is based on humpback whale bubble net feeding, and also ant colony optimization and slime mold algorithm.
Oh.
I did not dig too much farther into those. I'm just happy they exist. So that was an interesting little rabbit hole I fell down.
Yeah.
Learning about how animal behavior is being translated into computer science.
Yeah, that's cool.
Falling into the overlap in the Venn diagram of our interests, you and me. I did give them a 9 out of 10 for ingenuity. I did deduct a point because they eat a lot of trash. And sometimes that trash is not necessarily edible.
Yeah, that's kind of a global problem right now, isn't it?
Yeah, they are little trash bandits, just like raccoons. They will dig through your trash. They're very good at getting it. And they will eat things that don't necessarily help them. I don't know if that's something they'll learn over time, but I did take off a point for that. And finally, for aesthetics, I'm also giving them a 9 out of 10 because they're so cute.
What was the one negative point?
I don't know. It's just what I felt in my heart.
Is it the nose movement, perhaps?
It's not even that, because I find that very cute and endearing. I think that's adorable.
Just for some vindication of my earlier Star Wars comments.
Please. Was that what you were doing over there? No way!
It's Coati Mundi.
Are you serious? There's a whole Star Wars character named Coati Mundi?
Or at least there was. RIP.
Oh, spoiler alert. How did he go?
Order 66.
Oh.
Yeah.
Darn. Well.
So that's where that confusion came from.
Great. Awesome. Glad to have that cleared up. Well, much like Coati Mundi, some Coati Mundis are also in peril. Like my... You like my segue into conservation information? So the eastern mountain coati, one of the 4 species of coati, is endangered, mostly due to threats from habitat loss and fragmentation. The species has a pretty small, limited range, and it is up in the mountain forests where there is a lot of deforestation going on. They are at risk because of that. The other coatis are mostly doing okay conservation-wise. They have very wide ranges and very high populations. But the ones up in the mountains are facing a little bit more peril than the others. So, as always, be good stewards of the forest and the planet so that we can continue to have noodly little trash bandits.
Yeah.
Rummaging for our bananas. And that's the coati.
Thanks, hon.
Thank you. Let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Max Fun Network, and we'll get to Christian's animal.
Hi, this is Lori Kilmartin.
And I'm Jackie Cation, and we have a podcast called The Jackie and Lori Show on Max Fun, and it's very exciting because what do we talk about?
Comedy.
Stand-up comedy. We both do stand-up comedy and have since the dawn of Christ.
Well, Jackie...
Is that offensive?
It is offensive to me because you've aged me. We started in the late 80s, and we're still here. You can't kill us.
So go to The Jackie and Lori Show on Max Fun and listen to that.
The Jackie and Lori Show. New episodes Monday, only on MaximumFun.org.
Greatest Trek is the podcast for all your modern Star Trek needs. It's funny, informative, and now it's also timely.
That's because every Friday, right after the release of a new episode of Strange New Worlds, Picard, Lower Decks, Discovery, or Prodigy, we bring you a review of that episode.
There's some great new Star Trek coming up, and we're going to cover all of it.
You'll like our show because we're both former video producers, so we bring a lot of insight into the production and filmmaking aspects to these episodes.
And we also have a very refined sense of humor, so we make lots of delightful fart jokes along the way.
So come see why Greatest Trek is one of the most popular television recap podcasts on all of the internet.
Subscribe to Greatest Trek at MaximumFun.org or in the podcast app you're using right now.
So, darling, what animal do you have for us this week?
This week, I'm talking about one of the more rare crocodilians.
Really?
The gharial.
That's a cool name.
It is. Scientific name, Gharialis gangeticus.
Now, if you were gonna have a Star Wars name, Gharial's a pretty good one.
Yes, it is. And this species was submitted by Max Marcel, Allison Bataille, Dalton Weeks, and Cameron Swingle.
This one was in high demand, huh?
Uh-huh, yeah. I mean, that's over a couple years.
That's true,
but...
yeah. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes it takes us a while to get to these. We don't do that many animals.
Yep, but turns out this was good timing.
Yeah? Why's that?
I'll talk about it in the end.
I'll be waiting with bated breath.
Yeah. And I'll be getting my information from Animal Diversity Web and the Smithsonian's National Zoo, as well as Fort Worth Zoo. So, like I mentioned, this is a crocodilian, so it is in that same kind of grouping of alligators, crocodiles, and caimans.
Mm-hmm.
So these are reptiles that are at least partially aquatic, I guess is the name for that.
Yeah.
Predators.
Certainly.
So you and I are most familiar with the American alligator, of course,
yes.
which was one of, if not the first episode.
The first episode.
Yes, the first episode.
Mm-hmm. Very familiar. I have a tattoo of an alligator.
You do.
On my arm.
Yeah.
Florida also has crocodiles.
Yes, the American crocodile.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things about crocodilians is that, you look at them and they look very dinosaur-like,
mm-hmm.
right? It feels like being like next to what a dinosaur would have felt like. But they also kind of look lizard-like, right? One would probably look at one and assume that must be a giant lizard, right? Sure. Very lizard vibes.
It's got the floor plan of a lizard.
Yeah, it got sort of the lizard starter kit going on. Maybe
mm-hmm.
a lizard that like specced into barbarian or something like that.
Sure.
But crocodilians, so gharials, alligators, crocodiles, are all in this group of animals called archosaurs, which that larger group also included dinosaurs, which also includes birds.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Does not include the lepidosaurs, which are the snakes and the lizards and things like that. So crocodilians are more closely related to birds than they are to lizards.
All right.
Yeah. So crocodilians are not dinosaurs, but they're kind of like the next step away from them in the reptile family tree.
Right.
They're like just outside a dinosaur.
Okay. Makes sense.
But birds are dinosaurs. And so crocodilians and birds are like next to each other.
Right.
That blows my mind that like you look at a crocodile
mm-hmm.
or an alligator or a gharial and you look at a Komodo dragon and you look at like a flamingo.
Yeah.
And like the crocodile is closer to like the flamingo or the hummingbird or the pigeon or the turkey than it is to the lizard.
I think some of that is, it's hard for us as, creatures that live at max, a century and some change. It's hard for us to conceptualize hundreds of millions of years.
Right.
Right. Because, there are some dinosaurs that you often see depicted in media together, but, one of those dinosaurs is closer to us than it was that other dinosaur.
Right. Like that period of time is so outside of human comprehension, right? And I think it's John Green. I don't know if John Green was the first one to use this like visualization for it, but it's at least the one that I know of where he described like natural history as if the entire planet Earth was condensed into 24 hours and how like humans show up at like 11:59.
I think we've also heard that kind of thing, but like the solar system history put into reference of a calendar year.
Right. Yeah. It's that amount of time is difficult to conceptualize, but that explains why, like, even though they're morphologically very different, the crocodilians would be more related to the birds than they would be to the lizards. Right. Sorry to derail you.
Oh, it's fun. So long body, long tail, long snout.
Hot dog way.
Yeah. Short legs. Scales. Almost looks armor plated.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Got those osteoderms.
Mm-hmm. And then eyes that let them be mostly underwater, except for their eyes and nostrils sitting above the surface, right?
Yeah, so they've got them lined up like just on the very top of the body.
Yep. These are named after the Indian clay pot called the Gara.
Interesting.
Yes, and I'll talk a little bit more about why that is, but otherwise, the coloration is dark brown to a greenish brown on top.
Okay.
And the bottom goes from a yellowish white to a white color.
Okay.
And their babies have dark bands that fade as they age.
Oh, I wish they would keep them. That's cool.
I think we see this in a lot of other crocodilians too.
Sure, yeah.
Now, size-wise, males can reach 5 to 6 meters long, or
how much is that?
16 to 20 feet.
That's so big.
It is big.
They're huge.
And females can reach 3.5 to 4.5 meters long, or 11.5 to 15 feet.
That's still really big.
Very big, very long. They can be found today in fragmented populations in Nepal and northern India, found in clear, fast-flowing currents. Jumping into our first category of effectiveness, I'm giving an 8 out of 10.
It's really good.
So they are one of the longest crocodilians.
I noticed.
Yes. I was struggling to find a definitive, here's the biggest. It appears they're at least second to saltwater crocodiles. It's not by much, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds neck and neck.
Yeah.
Do you run into that fisherman problem of how people are like, I caught one that was 30 feet long?
Yeah, saltwater crocodiles are cool, too. Maybe we can talk about those one day. But
We've seen saltwater crocodiles.
we have.
It's crazy. They're wild. Those things are massive.
Yeah. Next thing I wanted to talk about is they have a differing sexual maturity age between males and females. The gap is pretty wide. So females mature around 8 years old or 3 meters in length, whereas males mature around 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
At around 4
That's
meters.
a problematic age gap.
Well, you know.
I guess if you're physically incapable of reproducing before then, that's fine, but I'm keeping my eye on y'all.
So this, comes into play a little bit later when we talk about conservation, of course.
Wildly mismatched lifespans.
Now, I want to come back to this Gara that we talked about.
Yes, please.
Where that comes from in their name is because the males, as they grow older, they develop this sort of bulb at the end of their snout where their nostrils are.
What that's all about.
Yeah. So that is a cartilaginous kind of bulb that grows as they get older.
Really?
And that partially covers their nostrils, and it acts as a sound resonator.
What?
Yeah.
What for? What sound are they resonating?
I'll touch on that in Ingenuity.
Oh, okay.
But that's the kind of physics behind it.
Okay.
And it allows them to make a buzzing sound with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's where the name comes from. That's actually probably the easiest crocodilian. You're going to be able to tell the difference between male and female.
When
honestly.
you see one, you know immediately what it is. They're so goofy looking.
Yeah.
Did you see anything about why their whole situation looks like that? Why they look so bizarre?
I have some thoughts, at least.
Oh, what are your thoughts?
So the big thing that separates gharials from the other crocodilians is they have a very narrow snout.
It's needle-like.
Yeah, very narrow.
Yeah.
Reminds me of some types of fish, actually.
Yeah.
Whereas alligators particularly have very broad snouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the crocodile's a little bit narrower, but still much more broad than the gharials.
Right.
So the gharials have these very narrow snouts with
skinny,
with lots of pointy teeth.
And the teeth are like really long and skinny too. They look so goofy when their mouth is closed. All of the teeth are just jutting everywhere.
When they like interlock or interlace with each other, right?
Yeah. It looks like, who's the guy from The Walking Dead that has the baseball bat full of like nails?
Negan.
Yeah, it looks like that baseball bat full of nails that he's got.
So, as you might be able to guess, that kind of business end there makes them very good at catching fish. Right? So we see this in sharks too. With the sharks that have the long, thin, pointy teeth are really good at catching slippery fish. Right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So this also means they're not going after things like terrestrial mammals and things like that.
Right, because I think like alligators and crocodiles typically will go for things that are a little bulkier.
Right.
But I guess if the gharial's not going after those big bulky things, it can get away with having a thinner snout because it doesn't need that much muscle behind its like strike, I guess.
Right. And it's a good thing that they're not going for terrestrial things because they have weak legs.
Oh no.
Relative to their, cousins and such. They're not great at moving on land.
Oh.
They spend most of their time in the water, and you'll really only find them out of the water when they're sunbathing or laying eggs. Good time to mention, they do thermoregulate.
Oh, they can actually like warm themselves and...
So, I mean that they come out of the water to bathe in the sun to warm themselves up.
Oh, they like behaviorally thermoregulate.
Yes.
I get it.
Sorry.
Okay. I thought you meant like they did it themselves.
Nope.
It's okay.
Nope.
If you can't thermoregulate yourself, store-bought is fine.
Yeah. So they exit the water to warm themselves up. Many reptiles do this. And then, of course, they lay eggs. They exit the water, build a nest, and lay eggs in that nest. But they need to get around a little bit, right? So the way they get around on the land with these weak little legs is basically a squirmy belly slide.
Oh, that's pretty good. They're so close to becoming snakes. They're so close. They're almost there.
Yeah. So you'll see them do this like rapid side to side wiggle and belly slide, especially if they're startled and they're trying to escape.
I wonder if we look ahead in time, 100,000 years in the future, do you think there'll be giant snakes at that point? They're like, you know what? These legs are holding us back. Because like evolution is an ongoing process. It's happening now all around us. It'll never stop. Do you think that like that's just what's next for them? Like we exist in this slice of time where they just haven't lost their legs yet?
I don't think so. Because they seem to be around for a while. So if they haven't changed yet.
That's true.
Speaking of their legs, they also have webbed feet.
Ooh.
Which lets them propel themselves through the water even better. They have smooth scales, which is different from most other alligators and crocodiles.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe helps them like swim through the water,
probably.
Like less traction and drag.
Yeah, probably. They have the largest eggs of all crocodilians.
What?
Weighing in at 6 ounces or 160 grams. That's about 3 times the weight of a large chicken egg.
I'm just trying to imagine 3 eggs together.
A modest omelet worth of egg.
A modest omelet. Do you put 3 eggs in your omelet typically?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, this is perfect. This is single serving. You probably shouldn't eat their egg.
No, especially not now. Which brings me to our next category of ingenuity.
Yes.
Where I'm giving a 7 out of 10.
Very good.
So first, we kind of hinted at this before, but they communicate through sounds and vibrations.
I did want to come back to this.
Yep. So the males, they use that bulb on their nose to make those buzzing noises, which they use for territorial defense and courting.
He's putting on a show.
Where they just honk that big old nose of theirs.
That's how you courted me.
Especially this next one, where they'll actually use their jaws to do water slapping to attract mates.
I love that. That's so good. You're always slapping the water with
just
your
with
jaw.
my face, just full on. Is this doing anything?
Yeah, this is working. This is great.
The next thing I want to talk about is their parental care for young. It's mostly maternal.
Great. Moms are doing some heavy lifting this episode.
Yeah. So first of all, the mom will lay an average of 40 eggs.
40 legs?
No, 40 eggs, which I guess would be 160 legs. But
that was good math.
Yeah. The mother will then guard the nest and incubate those eggs for 60 to 80 days.
She's putting the work in.
And then, when they're ready to hatch, she'll help excavate them from the nest as they're hatching.
Oh.
Yep.
Does she do the... So, like, other crocodilians will, like, carry their young around in their mouths.
Right.
But she has, like, no room to do that.
Cannot.
If she tried to do that, they'd just be spilling out the sides.
It's a precarious balancing act.
Do they have to sit on top of her nose?
No, they don't really do the carrying thing, so she'll just help kind of excavate them out.
It's free real estate. Listen, there's room up there.
Yeah.
Just toss them up there.
She'll then protect those hatchlings for several weeks following the hatching.
This is the time that, like, for alligators at least, you know, people are worried about alligators.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, if you're like near an alligator, they're probably not going to care that you're there that much.
Sure.
With the exception being,
if
it's a mother alligator with a clutch of eggs.
Yeah.
You do not want to be anywhere near a mother alligator protecting eggs because she cares very much that you're there and she does not want you to be there.
Yep.
So I would imagine this is probably similar for the gharial.
Now, the father does come into play a little bit, but just because he's tolerated nearby.
But he's on thin ice.
Now, the hatchlings will do this cute thing where they all climb on his back.
Daddy Jungle Jim.
But he doesn't really actively protect them.
But you know what? Okay, for a lot of animals, the fact that he's not killing them is great.
That's a plus.
That's a huge improvement.
Can I show you a picture?
Please. Oh my God. There's hundreds of them. He looks so over it. He's so tired. Look at him.
This is the goal I have pictured in mind at peak baby fever.
I know. This is exactly the life you want. And they're so darn cute. They look completely unbothered that he's there too. They're not even giving him the time of day. That's why he's not eating them, because there's a billion of them. They have him outnumbered. He can't do anything. There's a swarm of children he has on his back.
So I think the babies are very cute.
They are very cute.
So that brings us to our last category of aesthetics. I'm giving an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this your man?
So they are very different, of course, from the American alligators that you and I are used to.
Yes.
I just think they're pretty cute. The bulbous kind of nose thing is a little off-putting, which is my really only negative about them.
It's the fact that, so first of all, the eyes on top of the head are cartoonish, right? The eyes are like really close together and like up on top of the head. That looks very silly.
Right.
And then the nose is so skinny and so like it just tapers to such a tight like bottleneck and then balloons out at the end.
Yeah.
It's so silly looking. I can't take this guy seriously. I'd probably be talking about them differently if I came face to face with one. I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, they look like they would be menacing, but they honestly don't mess with living humans very often.
With living humans very often?
Right.
Do they mess with non-living humans?
In that area, there are burial ceremonies that involve bodies being put into bodies of water.
Got it. Okay, yes.
So
that makes sense.
Unfortunately, their conservation status is critically endangered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So earlier we talked about, today's range involves Nepal and northern India, but their historical range included Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan.
Wow.
So that whole river system in that area. Now, a big reason for their dwindling numbers, common things we've seen before, loss of habitat, pollution, river fragmentation.
Oh.
So when their populations start to get fragmented because of things blocking the waterways or that kind of thing. And unfortunately, poaching for traditional medicines. And then a little bit of fear-based killings.
Oh, really? Like people like kill them preemptively?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if that's like how people will kill, like, I don't know, wolves, right? Like preemptively, but it sounds like gharials aren't
even less, I guess.
Justified?
Yeah, even less justified.
It sounds like gharials
case.
are just eating small things like fish and stuff, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Although I could see if you're a fisherman, you might see a gharial as your competition.
I suppose. Golly. It's estimated to only be around 200 reproducing adults in the wild today.
What? That's so few. Oh my gosh.
And then that kind of combined with that long period of time it takes to mature to be able to reproduce, I'm sure plays into that as well.
Right.
Like they have to live for quite some time before they're able to reproduce even once.
Did you say the females had a much shorter time before they were able to reproduce? That I guess works in their favor, right? Because the females are going to kind of be the limiting factor reproductively.
Right, yeah.
So like if the females have the shorter time to maturity, then I guess that's probably a good thing.
Had I thought about it, I would have dug a little bit deeper to see what the gender ratio is between like how out of a certain clutch, how many are born male versus female, etc. And like all crocodilians, that is all determined after the egg is laid, and is somewhat temperature based.
Right. So this is something you see with reptiles that's getting a little precarious now. Crocodilians aren't the only ones. There are like turtles and things like that that are temperature dependent sex determination.
Yes.
So where like when the temperatures are warmer, then you'll get more males. That really becomes a problem when temperatures rise.
Yeah.
Like over a long period of time where like average temperatures are rising. And that sort of permanently skews the sex ratio of the population, which can really mess with their reproduction. Yeah. So you're seeing this with a lot of reptiles, but for a reptile that is already being threatened by other things and already has a limited range, it's just a log on the fire.
Yep. So yeah, they're not doing too great. There's one feel-good story I came across.
Oh, good.
Very recently, the Fort Worth Zoo in Texas announced last month that they were able to hatch 4 individuals in captivity.
Oh!
This had only ever been done in the U.S. once before in 2016.
Wow!
And that was a single hatchling. And this one they were able to hatch 4 from 2 different mothers.
That's surprising because you mentioned that they have these very large clutches, that they lay a lot of eggs at a time. I wonder why they're not able to rear that many in captivity.
I'm not sure, but this was part of over a decade-long program that the Fort Worth Zoo put together.
Yeah.
And it involved really trying to nail down the habitat for the gharials, which involves heating the sand at the right temperature, making sure the slopes are such that they can easily get in and out of the water, because they can't, lift themselves up with their legs and things.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
So that's one recent feel-good story.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I hope that means more efforts to come.
Not a ton of zoos have them either.
We've seen them.
Yes.
The alligator farm.
Yes, the alligator farm in St. Augustine. They have gharials, as well as the saltwater crocodiles that you mentioned earlier.
So you can really, the saltwater crocodiles can really flex on the gharials. Be like, #1, baby!
Yeah.
But the gharials there are very, they're gorgeous. They're lovely creatures.
Yeah. And might take you by surprise, like if you'd never heard of them before and then see one.
You see one and you're like, it looks like a child drew a crocodile. You're like, I don't think they're supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
It looks like an AI generated crocodile. I'm clowning on these critters, but when you see them like in person, they're gorgeous.
I think they're both probably the most Well, I was going to say the most charismatic of the crocodilians, but that one small caiman is also very cute.
Oh, the little baby.
Yeah.
What is it called? A dwarf caiman, I think.
I forget the name now.
It's baby.
Permanently baby alligator, basically.
Well, but like we do have very strong attachments to our alligators. Your friendly neighborhood dinosaur, right? Like I don't live in the area where gharials live, but I would have to imagine that people that do live there probably feel pretty strongly about their, river giants.
Yeah.
That stuff is cool.
It is.
It's hard to see them and not think like, that's amazing. That is so cool.
Yeah.
It's cool that we share the planet with these creatures. They're so nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, thank you. That was really great. I'm glad to learn more about these funky little guys. Really riffing on the whole crocodilian sort of scheme there. Really improving a little bit in the face department.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, darling. And thank you, dear listener, for spending this time with us. It's been a wonderful time. If you like what you heard today, I hope you leave behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. You can also hang out with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, TikTok. Links to everything will be in the episode description. And we'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside the other amazing shows on the network, like the ones that you heard promos for here today. I'd also like to thank Louis Zong for our wonderful theme music. Maybe we should get a little gharial buzzing in there.
Yeah, totally.
A little nose honking in there.
I wasn't able to find an audio clip of what it sounds like, but maybe there's something there.
Oh, you know what? Actually, just give me an impression of what they sound like real quick.
No, see, I was thinking it's more of like a bzzz type thing.
That is the closest I think we're going to get to you actually doing an animal impression on the show. I'll take it.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Maximum Fun.
A worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.